Alright, today's a bit of a different video, but if you didn't know, I am someone who loves collecting physical games, in particular the PS3, which is why we started the PS3 randomizer. And this is something I've been wanting to do since the start of that series, but today I figured, I'm in between platinum videos, I've got a bunch sort of going at once. Why not just do a chill sort of video where I go through my entire collection, over 150 games, talk about each game a bit, find out what my collection in total is worth in Australian dollars. I can't clarify that enough apparently. Now I'm not going to fluff about in the beginning because I feel like this is going to be an hour of me rambling, but if you enjoy that sort of stuff, hopefully I can still do some interesting stuff. I got the green screen out, put some Subway servers in the background or the games I'm actually talking about. I don't know what I'm doing yet. Hopefully you can just chill, put me on the second monitor. I don't care. If this is interesting, cool. If it's not, I'll see you in the next platinum video. More than anything, I wanted a video to sort of point to say, okay, this is what's on the wheel at the moment. Also explain some common questions about the PS3 randomizer, like why certain games are and aren't on there. And yeah, I just get to talk games, which is really cool. So let's just get straight into this with the first game on the list, Alien vs Predator 2010. And of course, I've got the Steelbook. I love me a good Steelbook. There's going to be quite a few in the collection. This is one I find to be quite underrated. You got 3 campaigns. You got the Xenomorph, the Predator, and the Colonial Marines. As a fan of all of those, I love the Alien movies. I love the Predator movies. I even enjoy the Alien versus Predator movies. This game is really fun. I'm very interested to see how we go with getting the platinum for this and basically reviving a multiplayer to do so, but I mean, just an underrated game. If you're a fan of any of these properties, this is a game that I think you should play, and I would love to see another Alien vs Predator game. Alright, next up is a game I find really charming, but I also can acknowledge it's pretty okay at best in a lot of ways, but that is Alpha Protocol. Just think James Bond as an RPG, like sort of Mass Effect, James Bond spy sort of stuff. It's developed by Obsidian. The biggest issue is it's just really poorly optimized and sort of broken. I have no idea how this holds up on PS3. I've never played it on console. My only experience is on PC, and even then it's not great. So yeah, there's something charming about this game. I would like to get the platinum at some point. I think this is one of those games that the wheel could pick and be like, okay, this is what this game is, and bring more attention to it, and just sort of hope that my love of how okay it is sort of comes through. Okay, next up we have probably the biggest shock I had of the year playing platinuming any game, and that was Angry Birds Star Wars. Now the green screen's gonna hate this game because of the yellows and the big green on the bottom, but if you enjoy Angry Birds, I'm sure you're just like, yeah, of course, Angry Birds Star Wars is great. Or, it's Angry Birds. I love Angry Birds. I just never really cared that much for Angry Birds. I played the original, on my phone in class occasionally, but yeah, it was never something I played too much, and I expected to absolutely just roast the game, and that's not what happened at all. I ended up loving it. It's one of my favorite platinums of the year. I think it's a good mix of challenge, but fair challenge. It's very achievable, but it's also an ultra rare platinum for whatever reason. I don't think it's that bad. So if you like an ultra rare plat, that's definitely a pretty easy one you could grab. Alright, next up, love the movie. Don't really rate the game, which could be said for a lot of things, but yeah, The Amazing Spider-Man. I wish Andrew Garfield got more of a chance with his Spider-Man universe, but I mean, the second one was so just hit and miss. It's not surprising he didn't, but yeah, the first movie was pretty good, and the game, it was okay. I don't remember loving it or hating it. It's a game. Hopefully not terrible. I mean, we're gonna have to platinum it. It's on the damn wheel, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna rival Insomniac or anything like that. This is where I want to say as well, I don't like the essentials or the platinum cases for PS3 games. I'm actually trying to replace all the ones I do have, but at the same time, I'd rather just buy a game I don't have and then worry about these sorts of things. So it's been very slow going actually getting rid of some of them. I still have a bunch, and our next game is one of them, Assassin's Creed 1. Thankfully this doesn't have any trophies because I don't like this game. I find it It's not aged well. I don't care for the story. I don't find the mechanics have aged particularly well either. It's just, I mean, it started a series I at a point enjoyed. Not so much anymore, but yeah, Assassin's Creed 1, not my favorite. We'll leave it at that. Next up though, we have the game that got me into Assassin's Creed 2. And I still remember playing this for the first time. It blew my mind. I platinumed the game twice last year, and I think the combat is very simplistic. It's very basic, you know, just press counter and you're pretty much done. Yeah, I love the setting. I love Ezio as a character. I can just revisit this, you know. I revisit Assassin's Creed 2 quite often, honestly, so yeah, this is just good fun. A game that did surprise me last year was Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, which I won't keep up for too long because that platinum case is hideous. And I want to say this came with my PS3 because I got the cash converter sticker, which I would never... I don't like when I've got a bunch of stickers I got to try and peel off and whatnot, so... yeah, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I really enjoyed revisiting that last year. I loved the multiplayer for Assassin's Creed for a while. I really enjoyed that twist, but sadly, that's the reason I can't platinum the PS3 versions anymore. When I played it last year, I was like, oh, this is just Assassin's Creed 2, but better. So yeah, really enjoyable. Revelations, I didn't have as good a time with, I'll be honest. I think it was playing it back to back to back, you know, the Ezio trilogy. I think I was sort of bored by this point, or of the repetition. I also didn't love the new additions like the RTS mechanics or the first person stuff. I found that stuff really bad, but I love the setting. You know, that was always the thing about Assassin's Creed. I always loved the environments and the history and those types of things. So I did really enjoy that, but if you're gonna, I think you'll have more fun if you don't do what I did and play, you know, the Ezio trilogy in like a week or two. Next up we have the first, I think I only have 2 collector's editions, somewhat complete. One is definitely complete except, you know, outside of the box, which I don't really care for. And then we have this one, which has a pretty interesting story, and that is Assassin's Creed 3, which you may be like, oh, that's a big case. Yeah, it's the 360 case, I believe, and I'll explain why that is. But here's a teaser for you. It's got Left 4 Dead 2 in here. Why has it got Left 4 Dead 2 in here? So my uncle is like a trash or treasure type of person. He goes to markets, he goes to garage, you know, garage sales, yard sales, the tip, and he got this at the tip. That they were in a box, and these were just thrown out in a box, and he was like, cool, do you want them? I'm like, hell yeah, I want them. So that was the story of that. I mean, the steelbook's not in the best condition, you know, it's got a couple of nicks or whatever, but I like the story of it nonetheless. And Assassin's Creed 3, another one. I really enjoy the setting. I don't care for the story that much, especially the Desmond stuff. I never have cared for the Desmond stuff, but yeah, great game. All right, finally for Assassin's Creed, we got Assassin's Creed Rogue, a game I've just not really put any time into. I picked it up pretty close to launch, but then I played Unity instead and sort of forgot about this one, especially when my friend asked to borrow it, you know, after a month of me owning it. I was like, yeah, you can borrow it, and then I sort of just forgot about it after that. So I do need to check this one out, and hopefully, you know, the wheel lets me do that. Next up we have probably, I don't know if this, I'd say it's underrated, but more than anything, I feel like this is a hidden gem, and that is Asura's Wrath. I'm not the biggest anime fan, I'll be honest. Outside of like Full Metal Alchemist and like the kids, the shows I grew up watching, like Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, all those types of shows. Outside of that, I've never really been too invested in that style of content, but Asura's Wrath is epic and definitely a game more people should check out if they don't know about it. So I'm excited for when the wheel does pick this one. It should be really fun. Alrighty, next up we have probably my favorite superhero game of all time, and definitely my favorite in the series, and that is Batman Arkham Asylum. Now, why do I prefer this over Arkham City? Arkham Knight's not even in the conversation for me. I think the story is too poor, and Origins I think is good, but I just don't think it compares to City and Asylum. I think they're the best by far, and for me this is the most replayable. I think Arkham Asylum is I think the Metroidvania stuff really encourages me to keep coming back to this one as opposed to the open world stuff of City. But yeah, really good game. I'm excited to, I still need to platinum it. Same with Arkham City, which the green screen is going to hate, being this sort of steelbook. It's definitely not going to like this side. But yeah, I mean, you know, gotta get the steelbook. Arkham City, as I said, my only knock on it is it's as opposed to Asylum is I don't replay it as much because of the open world. But I mean, outside of that, it's a phenomenal game. And to, you know, cap off the Arkham trilogy on PS3, we've got the Arkham Origins Steelbook as well, which is a really sick Steelbook. Origins, I think, is definitely underrated. It's underrated, but it's not phenomenal. I still don't think it's on the same level as Arkham City or Arkham Asylum. I think it's a quality game, nonetheless. Sadly that we cannot platinum though. That is, you know, the multiplayer. I didn't rate the multiplayer. That's the sort of hit and miss of the 7th generation, is the sort of forced in multiplayer. Not all of them worked, and then the ones that didn't, you know, made you can't platinum the games anymore. So that's Arkham Origins. I don't know if this is a controversial opinion, but we have Battlefield Bad Company 1, which I don't enjoy. I just think Bad Company 2 is just the far superior game. Like, I have no interest in ever replaying this game. I can't platinum it, so it's sort of just, I have it in the collection because it was sort of the, oh, maybe I'll go for this platinum. I was never going to, but it was cheap. And Bad Company 2, sadly, I did miss out on doing some of the multiplayer stuff. I would have loved to have had this platinum in my collection. It's one of my favorite games. Battlefield 6 looks really good, you know, if you haven't seen that trailer. But yeah, I loved Bad Company 2. Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3 were my, like, that's where I got the brunt of my Battlefield time in. I played so much of it back in high school, it's ridiculous. And then the last one from this stack, we got a few stacks to get through, is Beyond Two Souls from old David Cage. Another steelbook. The back's kind of let down, but I mean, the front's kind of cool. Yeah, I'll be on. I've said this on stream before. I don't care for David Cage's games, to be honest. This is probably a steelbook pickup, if nothing else. I liked Fahrenheit. I didn't really love Heavy Rain, but it was alright. Beyond Two Souls, I didn't rate, and Detroit Become Human was fine. It's one of the most recommended games for me to platinum. It's fine. It's fine. That's all I think about it. I don't think it's fantastic, and yeah. That it is what it is. I have it because I am a slave to my collection needs at times, but it's not my favorite game. All right, next up we have BioShock, one of gaming's very best. I mean, the story in this is near untouchable. It's so damn good. The world is awesome. I have platinumed this already for the channel. I've got a video on it, but I definitely want to do it again. And I have some ideas to sort of spice that up, because I've got a couple of games on PS3 that I've already platinumed elsewhere that I still want to platinum on my PS3. So this is one of them. And next up we have the sequel, BioShock 2. A game for a long time I was like, this is so underrated. I finally feel like it gets the recognition it deserves. It's BioShock, but with better gameplay and a slightly dip in the story department, but the DLC is really good and I think makes up for it. So it's my personal favorite of the series. I love BioShock 2, and this one's going to be interesting. I don't know if the multiplayer is still not active, but you know, possible to get a game in. So if we could get this platinum again as well, that'd be dope. Okay, apparently we just went bang 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 for games I've already platinumed just elsewhere, but Borderlands. This was probably one of the most miserable 100% experiences I had, but as a game, Borderlands is fantastic. I love the Borderlands series. I'm really excited for Borderlands 4, and Borderlands 1 is definitely the one I sunk the most time into, because I just remember reading the magazines all the time and just seeing it, watching all the reviews. I was so excited to finally pick this up, and it didn't disappoint. I just think the DLC trophies ruined my experience last time. Next up, Borderlands 2, a game that's probably a lot of people's favorites in the series. It's definitely close for me. The next game is my personal favorite for reasons I'll explain, but yeah, Borderlands 2 you can't go wrong with, and a game at some point I definitely want to platinum, but when it's hard to say. And lastly, Borderlands the pre-sequel, which is my favorite in the series because it's just Australian Borderlands. You know, 2K Australia had a big role in developing this game, and because of that, it's got a lot of Aussie humor, it's got a lot of nods to Aussie history and folklore and jokes, which I really enjoy. So one I'm excited to revisit. This one I haven't played, but we got Brave. I've never seen the movie Brave. I've heard good things. I'm sort of just waiting for my son to be interested in watching and be like, okay, yeah, let's watch. I haven't heard great things about the game, but, you know, I picked this up for that Pixar video that never was to be, and now we wait for the wheel. I don't get many people who do this, you know, day 1 of commenting, day 2, day 3, day 4. I've never really had that on any of my videos, but the PS3 randomizer has inspired that with this next game, Brink. Now, Brink is one of those games that I never was really that interested in when it came out. I remember all my buddies were getting it on the 360, like, you have to get it, you have to get it. And at that time, I didn't have a job, so to get new games, I either had to save some pocket money or ask my mum and dad to basically be like, hey, could I get this game? Which I never really did for new games because I didn't want to be like, hey, drop $100 for me, please. And good thing I didn't, because within a week, no one was playing this. So it's sort of just this weird first-person shooter team thing. I feel like it's just a meme at this point that the person wants me to play this, but I mean, I'm down to revisit it. I think it would make for a funny video. Next up, we've got a game I don't remember too much about, but that is the Bureau XCOM Declassified. I'm just, more than anything, I love XCOM. I have ever since I played, you know, Enemy Unknown. I loved Enemy Within. I loved XCOM 2. I even enjoyed the XCOM. Oh, it was really purple. That's all I remember about it. Anyway, I picked that up day 1. I know that. This is like a third-person game from memory. I don't remember much about it. I do want to revisit it just to see what it was like, but I remember it being fun. All right, now we got the bulk of this stack, which is Call of Duty. And most of these, except for one, are steelbooks. But yeah, Black Ops 1, probably my favorite of the entire series. I mean, how many games were we up to? Like 20 something. Black Ops 1, I just find the story is the strongest, and the multiplayer was the most interesting, especially back in the day. You had the COD points, you had wager matches. I thought it was a nice risk, and with the zombies is one of my favorites. I think overall, Black Ops 1 is just one of my favorite Call of Duties, and I'm very excited to platinum that one. Alright, next up we have Black Ops 2, which is a game in the series I find to be a little overrated. Not my favorite though, not even close. I think the campaign is weaker than Black Ops 1. I think the multiplayer didn't take as many risks as Black Ops 1. It was a quality multiplayer, but it wasn't something I sunk an insane amount of hours into. And the zombies, I think, is one of the weaker in Black Ops, which definitely I feel like is a hot take, but I just think, you know, in terms of transit, I just don't like it. Plus you can't platinum that one, which, you know, sucks. It's the only Call of Duty, I think, at least on PS3, that you cannot platinum. Next up, we got Call of Duty Ghosts. Definitely when I was starting to be like, ooh, what happened to Call of Duty? I didn't like that. I've been playing Call of Duty since Call of Duty 2, back in 2005. Ghost was the first one where I was like, that wasn't good. If I was to try it again now, it'd be better. I did enjoy the extinction mode for what it was. You know, a different take on the zombies formula. I didn't rate the campaign, didn't rate the multiplayer, but the extinction was interesting. All right, next up we got Modern Warfare 2, which it's just one of the best Call of Duties in the whole series. I mean, the multiplayer is iconic, the campaign is iconic, and the Spec Ops, I was never the biggest fan of Spec Ops, but I think as a side mode, after playing Modern Warfare 3 for the Platinum, I think I'll really enjoy Modern Warfare 2 Spec Ops now. So, I mean, I'm excited to get this one on the wheel nonetheless. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, this was another one of my favorite Call of Duties. I sunk so many hours into this. Obviously we just did a video on it, so I won't discuss it too much. You sort of know my thoughts on it. A great Call of Duty. The platinum is rough. You know, so the survival grind is no joke. And another one that we have platinumed in the Call of Duty series, World at War. This is by far the hardest game I've platinumed still to date. I think the veteran campaign is just so soul destroying. It's I'm surprised they beat it. That's honestly what I'll say. It's infuriating how broken the grenade spam is, how broken the infinite enemies are. But as a game, World at War is one of the best Call of Duty campaigns in the whole series. I really enjoyed the zombies mode as well. I really enjoyed the multiplayer back in the day, but the campaign was special. Probably what got me into a lot of my history interest as well was games like Call of Duty 2, World at War, like that sort of era. Alright, we got a meme platinum, and probably the best of the series, Cars 2. It's a fine racing game. That's about as good as it got, because Race-O-Rama was not. Race-O-Rama sucked. I hated this experience. I think it runs like crap. It's not a good game, and it's not cheap either. Nothing good. No positive. Alright, my brother's gonna love this one. This is a game I've never actually played. I've only seen my brother play this, and he is obsessed with this game. I'm surprised last time he came over he didn't play it, in all honesty. And that is Clive Barker's Jericho. Again, I have no idea what this game is. I know it doesn't have any trophies, or at least it doesn't have a platinum. It looks sort of interesting. I'm sort of down with it. I've just never played it, and it always was like a meme of like a terrible game. I actually don't know if this is a bad game. People are gonna have to let me know if they've played it in the comments. The cover art is sort of making me want to play it, honestly. Alright, lastly for this stack, Crysis 2. I love the Crysis series. It was the biggest, you know, I still remember when I got a PC that could run the original Crysis, and I was like, oh my god, I can finally play it. And Crysis 2, I remember Crysis 2 I didn't love as much as the first one, but I love the aesthetic of Crysis 2, and Crysis 3 was good fun as well. So I don't think you can platinum this one on PS3. That's the tricky part, because some people, PSN profiles will say unobtainable, and then there'll be people like, no, you can platinum it. Can you or can't you? I don't know. I'm just gonna go with PSN profiles. They say you can't. Alright, this next game is probably a game I regard as my favorite of all time. It's not everyone's, especially, you know, depending on when you got into this series, you may not even like this game. But for me, this is what got me into more challenging games. This is what got me into the series. And it's a game we platinumed this year, Dark Souls. Now again, this is one, we'll be platinuming this again. Don't you worry about that. We'll be going through Blighttown on PS3. We'll do some sort of challenge with it, because I did pretty well on the remastered. I think it took me like 30 hours to platinum that game, so we'll see what we can do with Dark Souls 1 on the PS3. But yeah, I mean, I've said my piece on Dark Souls. You know my thoughts on it. I've made a retrospective on the game, and I've done a platinum video on the game. I've talked enough about it. It's phenomenal. Okay, now I get to rant a little bit. This was the biggest disappointment of a game I've ever, like, the level of disappointment I had for this game has never been met since. I've had disappointing games that I picked up. They don't quite measure up to this. This was a whole new level of, oh dear. And some people love it. It's getting more love every day on the internet. I am not one of those people. I am a forever hater, and that is Dark Souls 2. The Black Armor Edition. This is the copy I got back in 2014. A nice steelbook, I'll give it that, but geez Lou, what a disappointment. I think I had such high expectations. I don't know if Dark Souls 2 could have ever lived up to it, even if it was how good it was, but I don't rate that game at all. And that's why whenever I've done retrospectives on the Soul series, I've done platinum videos on the Soul series, whenever I get past Dark Souls 1 and it's like, okay, logically Dark Souls 2 is next, the delay on it is insane. I'll save a lot of my thoughts for a potential video on the game, but I don't rate it. If you enjoy it, that's more power to you. I know a lot of people are coming out of the woodwork. They love it. I don't get it. I think it's bad. Okay, these next two games are super underrated, and if you've never played them, you absolutely should. And that is The Darkness, which you cannot platinum, and The Darkness 2, which you can platinum. Yeah, some of my... I remember always looking at The Darkness 1 at EB. It was always in the pre-owned bin. It was always one of the cheaper games by the time I found it. And I was always like, one day I'm going to pick you up and I'll see what the hubbub is. I'm so glad I did, because this is phenomenal. It's genuinely a super underrated first-person shooter, really interesting, based on a comic series. A game definitely more people should try. I wish it had a platinum, but at least The Darkness 2 has a platinum trophy. And at some point, there's some games that are on the wheel that it's like, okay, do I wait for the wheel to land on it, or do I just pick up and play the game myself? There's a couple of games in my collection I'm like, oh, maybe I just play it. Darkness 2 is one of them. This one needs more attention. Now we got a game we platinumed last year in, anticipation for the movie. Deadpool. Which I gotta be honest, didn't really make me feel like Deadpool. It made me feel very weak and very flimsy, which is what you get for playing on the hardest difficulty. But I found the game to be very funny. I found the gameplay to be really good. It never looked like the best gameplay loop. But since I've played it, yeah, it's fun. It's sort of it's like an above average game. I think there's a lot of fun to be had here, but the platinum definitely will have you pulling your hair out. It made me infuriated. All right, this is a series I do want to cover really soon. I hope it gets picked soon. Dead Space. Now, Dead Space 1 is probably my favorite just because I still remember, I remember the reveal trailer with the creepy ass song. I remember that this got me to watch the movie. The movies for Dead Space are seriously underrated. This was one of the first games that got me to push through my fear of horror games and be like, no, just suck it up. This and a game we'll talk about later in this collection was like, okay, suck it up because this game is good. You need to experience it. And just because you're 11, don't bitch out here. All right, next up we have Dead Space 2, which, another yucky platinum edition aside, is a game overall I enjoy even more than Dead Space 1. I find Dead Space 2 to have a nice balance between this is terrifying and, okay, this is epic and I can breathe a little bit and actually feel like I learned something from Dead Space 1, which I really enjoyed. And then we have Dead Space 3, which I think, I don't know what happened. I would love to find out what actually happened with this game because it is such a weird direction shift. The necromorphs zombies basically now, and I think there's some cool elements of Dead Space 3. I just think they forget what it is to be Dead Space. Oh yes, now we get to talk about this one too. Demon Souls. As I said, I played Dark Souls 1 first, but after I loved Dark Souls 1 so much, I still remember my brother's buddy, he had a PS3 and he had Demon Souls, and I was like, I'm playing this, and I loved it from then on. This is not everyone's favorite. It's a really different Souls experience. It's the first one. The bosses I don't think are the difficulty factor. I think the levels themselves are what makes this game difficult. A lot of the bosses are just very gimmicky, but yeah, genuinely just a fantastic game. For me, it goes Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls. They're my top two, and they've been my top two since they came out. Call it nostalgia, call it whatever. I love the first two games. Now we have a game I don't think I've actually played, and I remember picking up back before. I was like, oh, does this game have trophies? No, it does. That is Destroy All Humans. I hate that. The green screen hates yellow. Path of the Furon. I love Destroy All Humans, but yeah, don't know much about this game. Don't know if it was good or not. I believe it was the last game that released before, the remakes and whatnot, but I'd be interested to see what this is like at some point. I have been thinking as well, for the games that aren't possible to platinum, or the games that have no trophies or anything like that, we could definitely do something where we just revisit them to see what they're like, but for now, I want to focus on platinums. Whenever I think of my favorite games of all time, for some reason, I always forget to mention this game, but this is genuinely one of my all-time favorites, and that is Deus Ex Human Revolution. We've got another Essentials case. I apologize. But I mean, this is genuinely one of those games that got me to... There's certain games that you play, especially when you're a teenager and you start paying attention to mechanics a bit more, and you're like, okay, this really pushes that, okay, what can I do? What can't I do? How many ways can you approach this scenario? Can I get through this game with just strength? Can I get through it if I try and not kill anyone, just with stealth? Or, I love the variety in the gameplay, and the story is fantastic. I am so excited. Like I was with Fallout 3, I'm so excited for this game to get picked by the wheel because I think it's phenomenal. And, a lot of the youngins, the 2000 kids who probably, grew up with more of the PS4 sort of stuff, they don't know about Human Revolution, and that's a shame. You gotta play this game. This is a weird one. I actually don't know where I got this from. I feel like it just appeared in my collection one day, and that is Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls, but it also comes with, the base game. I loved Diablo Diablo 3 on the PC. I don't know how or when I got this on PS3, but I have it. And I think it'd be funny to platinum this on PS3 of all things. But I can't really say too much. I'm not the biggest Diablo guy. I like, you know, the heaven and hell sort of stuff and the aesthetics and the gameplay loop, and I do enjoy all of that. The first one I played was Diablo 3, and I played a little bit of Diablo 2 when I went back to revisit it. I've not played Diablo 4, never played the first one, so 3 was where I sunk a lot of my time. Alright, I picked this game up because if you don't know, Disney Infinity 1.0 is still possible to platinum, and it also is a really rare platinum. So, I picked it up, and I am actually tempted to put this one in just to get the couple of multiplayer trophies out the way, which is true for most of the games on here, and just get them out the way. But yeah, Disney Infinity, never played it, but it looks okay. You know, that Skylanders phase that I was a bit too old for. Ooh, we got a controversial one. DMC Devil May Cry. This one, it is like it's like kindling for the Devil May Cry community. I love this game. I find this game to be so good. Now can you say this Dante is as good as the, you know, the traditional Dante? I don't think so, but I don't think there's anything wrong with him. Is he a little cringe? Maybe, but I love this game. I've always really enjoyed this game. I don't understand the vitriol for this game in the community. I'm excited to platinum this at some point. Really, I honestly am, because I wanna revisit it. And maybe now that I'm 28 years old, I'm not in my teenage phase when the game came out. Maybe I'll understand. Maybe it really is cringe, but I just don't see it. Just one of the best RPGs of all time. Dragon Age Origins. I mean, what can I say about this game? I'll say this. Outside of Lord of the Rings, I have always been more of a sci-fi fan than a fantasy fan, which is why I've always enjoyed Mass Effect more than Dragon Age. But Dragon Age Origins is pretty damn good. And a must play in my opinion. I hope, I want to experience this story again more than anything, because the story is fantastic. Then we have Dragon Age 2, which I feel like, from what I remember, it was super rushed. It was like, when did this come out? It was like a year later or a year it was a year released after something. What that was, I can't remember. But basically they had no time to develop this. They turned it into Dragon Age Mass Effect, and I think they shit the bed. I don't think this is a good game. Alright, and the last two games for this stack are both from, a same sort of series that I've never played these games before, and that is Dragon Ball Raging Blast and Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi? I haven't done Japanese in a long time. Yeah, I mean, I grew up with Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z as a kid, obviously, but I enjoyed the games well enough as a kid on PS2. I remember playing the Budokai series. Yeah, I saw these, so I was like, maybe they could be fun to platinum at some point. The games have always been pretty decent in my opinion, so there is that. Okay, next up we have Driver San Francisco, another unobtainable platinum, another Essentials case, which is yuck. Really a game I don't remember too much about. The Driver series was never my absolute favorite, but I remember the game being decent, if nothing else. Okay, this is one that's like the definition for me of a guilty pleasure game. I don't know why. I love the series, I grew up playing the series, so maybe it's that connection. Maybe it's the teenage humor for me. I don't know what it is, but Duke Nukem Forever is just one of those games. I know it's bad. I enjoy playing it. It's that simple, and I'm hoping when the wheel lands on it, I still have that sort of feeling, but we shall see. Who knows at the end of the day. Okay, I'm so glad. Okay, we've gotten to the game I've been really excited to talk about, because this is a commonly asked question on basically every wheel video I've done. When people see it on the wheel, they're like, hang on a minute. And that is The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. They're like, hey, that game doesn't have trophies. And you're right. So there's some games on the wheel that I was basically like, okay, it's not possible on PS3, but I don't want to just exclude them for like a PS4 or PS5 wheel. So if they had a platinum that was possible on PS4 or PS5, I would just include it on the PS3 wheel and be like, That's this game done. I own a copy of this game and I've got a platinum for the game. That sort of deal. I didn't want to not include Oblivion, which is one of my favorite RPGs again of all time. All right, this is one I'm sort of dreading now after platinuming Fallout 3 on PS3, but we've got it on PS3, so it just has to be done. The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. I mean, there's not much to say about Skyrim. It's like a gaming staple, I want to say. You know, Skyrim is what gets a lot of people into gaming in the first place. So I remember having so many fond memories with this game. Not on PS3, on the 360, you know, because the PS3 versions were never the best versions for these types of games for whatever reason. I hope we don't have the same sort of experience, but I don't have the highest of hopes. I'm hoping just don't crash on me all the time and we should be okay. What is this? Oh yeah. Okay, this is one I don't remember a lot about, but it is from a series that I played a lot of as a kid, and that is Enemy Territory Quake Wars. Now, Quake I played at my house. You know, we had a PC and we had a PlayStation 1. PC was where that's where I experienced my Wolfenstein, my Doom, my Quake. You know, all those FPSs, Duke Nukem. Don't recall Enemy Territory at all. If I'm completely honest, it looks cool. The case is sick, but I couldn't tell you much about the game. I know it doesn't have a platinum, so you know, if it's possible to even launch this game as a single player game, it looks like it. Quake is awesome though. Quake's a good time. Fairy Tail Fights. This is one of those games that I don't know why I even heard about this game in the first place or why I played it. I know I played it, but I don't remember anything about this game. And that's sort of why I picked it up again on PS3. And that was just to be like, what was this game? An enigma I still have not solved. All right, next up we got two games. We got Fallout 3, the Game of the Year edition, and we have, you know, base game Fallout 3. We talked about these, you know, last week, so I won't talk too much more about them, but, you know, as a game, it's phenomenal. The Platinum and the PS3 experience, though, is rough. I would not recommend it. Fallout New Vegas. I am really excited to revisit this, but I'm so almost scarred from the Fallout 3 experience that I just want to have an experience that justifies this being one of my all-time favorite games, because it is. I think Fallout New Vegas is the best Fallout. Another weird one. This is one I feel like people either, you know, if you're a fan of Family Guy, you'll enjoy it. If you're not, probably I don't even know why you'd pick it up. Family Guy Back to the Multiverse. This was one we did last year, I think. Really fun. I had a blast with it from start to finish. The only thing that was a little bit of a headache was the wave mode, where you have to get to wave 30, I think it was. That was a little scary, because if you f it up, you have to start it again, and it's not a great mode. But yeah, as a game, good fun. All right, this is one that's a weird one. Far Cry The Wild Expedition. Now, the reason I bought this was, where are we? In reverse. Was for Far Cry 1. I already have, you know, as you'll see, I have Far Cry 2 and 3, and Blood Dragon, I think, was with my copy of Far Cry 3. I thought this had all the games on the disc. I didn't find out it didn't until it arrived, where I found out Far Cry 1 was on a code, and this is a pre-owned copy. And the code still worked, so I was stoked with that. The code, you know, I have pretty good luck with pre-owned copies and codes still working, so I'll take that. But yeah, basically I bought it for Far Cry 1 because, you know, Far Cry 1's a good game. Same with Far Cry 2. I still think Far Cry 2 is going to be my favorite of the whole series. I've got the most nostalgia for it. It's really unfortunate that the platinum's not possible, and that's what PSN Profile says, so don't, you know, get all huffy with me. I'm going off PSN Profiles and it says it's not possible. But yeah, this was a great game, and a game that at this point, you know, Far Cry hadn't done anything like this. It was very new. It was, you know, Far Cry 1 is like developed by Crytek, you know, the people behind Crysis, and it's like got zombies and mutations and all that stuff. This was very realistic, open world, really realistic. For its time. So Far Cry 2 is just an absolute classic. And Far Cry 3, we have another, I believe all these... No, okay. I was going to say, this is clearly an Xbox Steelbook, but it's not. It's only got room for one disc, which was very uncommon for the 360s. So yeah, just a really nice Steelbook, you know, that nice embossed knife. I've done a video on Far Cry 3. Sadly, it had some it had a, first of all, it had a song copyright issue, and then it got age restricted, so I just deleted it. I do want to upload it again. Same with the Subnautica video, but when I do that, I don't know. But yeah, Far Cry 3 is phenomenal. I did try and platinum it on PS3 as well, but doing the co-op mission solo was miserable and I hated myself. Alright, here's that other game. When I was talking about Dead Space making me push through my fear and just sucking it up because the game is so good, Fear is that other game. Fear was, it's still to this day one of my favorite games of all time. Definitely one of my favorite horror games, one of my favorite first-person shooters. Just so ahead of its time. Yeah, just phenomenal. I wish, this is one I wish, you know, Fear and Fear 2 were actually possible to platinum still, because the games, there's just games I want to cover or talk about or have an excuse to talk about that sadly, you know, without trophies it makes it hard, because, you know, the community we've built here, we talk about platinums, we talk about trophies, but two great games, Fear 1 and Fear 2. The one that is possible to platinum is Fear 3, probably the worst of the lot. But still an okay game. I did enjoy Fear 3. I enjoyed the shooting mechanics and the co-op focus in a way, but yeah, definitely not its strongest entry. I've only finished one Final Fantasy game, but I have always been really intrigued by Final Fantasy 13 for whatever reason. I've played a few Final Fantasy games, as I said in the 15 video, but I never had the urge to finish any of them. I played, you know, 12 and I've played 10, which is weird because I've heard 10 is the best one, but when I tried to play it, I wasn't into it. Maybe I would be now. But 13 always really caught my attention. I don't know why, so I would love an excuse, Wheel. Love an excuse. And this is another one of those games that on PS3, it's not possible to platinum, but does have a PS4 version, and that is Ghostbusters, the video game. You know, obviously very late to the party for Ghostbusters, but it was such a faithful recreation of the movie, turning it into a game. It had I think it had the whole cast was involved in this game too, which was so rare. Yeah, just a great game that, you know, when the wheel lands on it and we go to PS4 or PS5, I'm happy to do so. Holy, I've already been talking for an hour. And I want to say we're like halfway-ish. I should not have done this at 1 in the morning, but what are you going to do? Next up, we've got definitely my favorite game in the series. One of my favorite games of all time. I know I'm saying it a lot, but a lot of my favorite games were in this sort of generation. God of War 3. We will be doing something with this soon. I'll need some content for next month, and I think we could do something really fun with this one. But yeah, God of War 3, I mean, the best God of War, hands down. If your favorite God of War is not in the Greek saga, you know, you're entitled to your opinion, but I take it with a grain of salt. I don't I enjoy, you know, the Greek saga, the Norse games, but not on the same level as, you know, God of War 2 and 3 and those types of games. I will grant you, they're better than God of War Ascension, which I just think is the worst God of War. It's just, I love the Greek saga, but it was clear at this point they were just so over it and they just tried it again for whatever reason. Yeah, I don't rate Ascension. It's not the worst game I've ever played, but I just think as a God of War game, it's not very good. This is one I think I just picked up because I am a sucker for a steelbook. Because I have not played a Gran Turismo game since 3, I want to say, on the PS2. I enjoyed it. I just was never like the biggest racing sim fan. I was more of like the arcade stuff, you know, the Need for Speeds, the Burnouts, the kart racing type of deal. But apparently the platinum for this isn't too bad, which is surprising for Gran Turismo, so I will definitely take that. I mean, I'm down to finally try it. Alright, this is where my gamer cred sort of gets questioned every time, but I have only finished one Grand Theft Auto, and it is Chinatown Wars on the DS. I've played all the GTA games, okay? Well, except for 1 and 2. But who's realistically played those games? But I've played 3, I've played Vice City, I've played, you know, San Andreas, I've played 4, 5. I just sort of play them to muck around. I never really invested any time into the story or anything. So that's sort of my biggest thing with GTA 4 being on the wheel, is the excuse, you know. I think I just need the push to be like, hey, you need to platinum this game to finally be like, okay, let's play GTA 4 and experience the story and experience the world and do all that stuff, because I've heard obviously GTA 4 is a lot of people's favorite GTAs. Alright, this has got to be one of the first, you know, Halo killers, right? I mean, it has to be. When did this come out? Like 2006? Killzone might have been the first. to try. But you've got Haze. Ends up, by the way, Halo ended up just killing itself, so they didn't even need to try so hard. But we have Haze, the Bumblebee first-person shooter. That's all I really remember about this game. I haven't played this since I was like 11 or 12, I want to say. I remember always seeing it. I was like, oh, it looks kind of cool. It's not. It's a bad game. It's a bag. It would have been funny. This is one of those, oh, did we revisit this to see what it's like today? We got another, back to some David Cage. Heavy Rain. As I said, I enjoy Fahrenheit, and I don't mind Heavy Rain. I think there's some elements to it that are, pretty interesting, and the mystery's really good. I just think, the Jason and the voice acting and some of the motion capture wasn't quite where it needed to be good. Heavy Rain is Heavy Rain. It's probably one of his most, it's got to be one of his most popular games outside of Detroit. Oh, this one takes me back. So I love Hellboy. The Ron Perlman era of Hellboy was so good. I love Ron Perlman, by the way. In Halo, he's in Fallout, he's Hellboy, he's in Aliens, Aliens 4, which I find a fun watch every time. It's a fun watch, Aliens 4, okay? I don't want to hear it. But yeah, Hellboy's good. The Signs of Evil, I don't remember playing this game too much, but it was always one of those games I looked at, I was like, that looks cool. Especially on the PSP for whatever reason. But yeah, don't know much about this game. It's not possible to platinum, but a game, could be fun to look into at some point. All right, next we got Hitman Absolution, another game that on PS3 it is not possible to platinum, but has the PS4 version, so we're good there. And this little box comes with a nice art book, which is always welcome, and a copy of the game, which some collector's edition things don't come with. Borderlands 4, which is crazy. But yeah, Hitman Absolution. I want to say I never really played any of them except for Blood Money up to this point, so Absolution definitely got me interested in the Agent 47 sort of storyline, and yeah, I enjoyed this game back in the day, so it would be fun to revisit. Oh boy. So this is one I get asked about quite a lot, because last year we did 2 polls for games, for series that, you guys wanted to see, and one was Far Cry, and one was Infamous. But after the Far Cry 3 video sort of flopped, I I lost the interest, and I do want to get back to this, but this pick. Infamous 1, just a really great game that I think is in desperate need of a remaster or a remake or something, because this has aged horribly visually. I think it's just a downright ugly video game. But one, I do need to clean up for my trophies, because I'm like 50% through. And then we have a really cool one. We have Infamous 2, the little, what are these called? The lint something? I forget. But a nice little like comic book storyboard. Infamous 2 has always been my favorite Infamous, so I do need to get back and try this one out. Next up, we got Just Cause 2. Probably the first open world that really intrigued me because of how chaotic the Just Cause series is. And I mean, this game was awesome. I mean, the story for Just Cause is nothing special, but the gameplay is just always good fun. So I'm excited to get back to this at some point as well. I'm just going to lump these together because I think they're both dog video games, and only one is possible to platinum, so I mean, it's okay. We got Kane and Lynch, Dead Man, which is just a terrible video game that I have played. I remember this was one of those, I think I did a review of this in like 2017 or 18. This is one of like my early videos, was a review of this. It's bad. But no platinum, thankfully. And then we have Kane and Lynch 2 Dog Days. This is somehow worse than the first game. I don't know how they did it. I don't know why they kept persisting with these two, but they did. And then Kane and Lynch 2 sort of did nothing, so it is what it is. What do we got next? Now we're getting back to some good ones. Killzone 2, my favorite of the Killzone series. I mean, I'll keep saying it until Sony does something. For the love of God, Killzone Collection, Resistance Collection, bring them to PS5, you absolute morons. I actually care about some of your lost IPs that you just don't care. It's so crazy to me that there is so many people on PlayStation that because, the Killzone series was basically done, not even, like, they had Shadowfall on PS4. That was a launch title, and Resistance never made it to PS4. So these games are basically all on PS3, and no one gives a shit anymore. That's yuck. Killzone 2 is phenomenal. Such a unique first-person shooter that truly, for me, as a massive Halo fan, rivaled Halo. Alright, next up we have Killzone 3. Probably just a smidge behind Killzone 2 for me. A really quality game nonetheless, and the multiplayer I sunk a lot of time into. But again, a game that needs to come back into the limelight, and this is one of those collector's edition games I do have. This is probably still my prized possession. I still remember buying this, you know, pre-owned obviously, but we've got the Hellgast helmet. I love Killzone. I think it needs to come back. Like, Sony's being ridiculous. Stop focusing on all the cinematic crap that's all Uncharted over and over again. Let's stop that. Let's get back to some variety. But yeah, it's the complete one. It's got the Killzone, you know, art book and all. Every time I have the opportunity, I'm going to rant that Killzone is just dead and Resistance is dead. Well, some of the reasons people were buying PS3s. Alright, next up we have Kingdom Hearts 1.5, and I've heard this is a lot more of a pain in the ass to platinum than the PS4 versions, but, you know, I have it on PS3 and that's what we're doing. I love the Kingdom Hearts series though. It's one of my favorites from the PS2 era in particular. I love the handheld versions. You know, I played all of them from Rechain on Game Boy to 358 over 2 on the DS, and even, you know, Birth by Sleep on the PSP. So I love the Kingdom Hearts series, and I do want to platinum those games eventually, even if on PS3 they're more of a pain in the ass. This is a pickup I did pretty much basically because of Satire. If you don't know him, he's, you know, a great trophy YouTuber. I'd be shocked if you haven't heard of him. But Kung Fu Panda 2. You know, one of those those bad PS3 games, you gotta have them. If you're doing a PS3 video or series where you get random chance, you gotta have some bad games, and Kung Fu Panda is apparently one of them. I don't know much else about it. And lastly for this stack, we have LA Noire. One of Australia's best games in my opinion. I think LA Noire is fantastic. You know, I think they took a real chance with this, and I think it pays off. I think it's a great detective game, and I sort of wish it ended better for Team Bondi. Alright, next up we have probably one of the best games on the PS3, The Last of Us. I mean, what can you say? This is one of just, it's one of the best games on the PS3. It's a phenomenal story. The first one. I still have never played the second one, and with all the, you know, the hubbub about it, I don't know if I ever really will. I'm just not that interested. But I think the first game, they really had something special here, and I sort of wish they didn't fumble that away with whatever they did in the second one. I wish it was more of a united, yeah. The Last of Us was sick. Alright, now we got our Lego bunch, and we're starting with the one I know pretty much nothing about, and that is Lego Batman 2. I played the original Lego Batman. I love, you know, the original. I never played 2 or 3, so I'm excited to finally check this one out. Lego Lord of the Rings is probably my favorite Lego game of all time. I mean, I'm such a big Lord of the Rings fan, it's hard not to be. Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, which was a lot of fun. I'm glad I finally played it. It's probably one of my favorite experiences from the wheel so far. And finally, another just great Lego game, Lego Star Wars 3, The Clone Wars. I got a comment on this video recently, and it was like, I wish they waited until the series was over to do this game, and I agree, because it would, I mean, I could just imagine the Skywalker saga with the Clone Wars. I think that would be sick. So I think they need to revisit the Clone Wars for the next Lego game. Alright, next up, we've got Aragon's Quest. I don't know much about this game. I played it on the DS, I feel like. It was fine. But again, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, so I will buy these games, and if they're possible to platinum, we'll go for them at some point. Same with War in the North. I do know much more about this, you know, the co-op focus, and I really enjoyed it back in the day, but I don't remember too much about the game, sadly, anymore. You know, when you play so many games, just gets kicked out of your memory. I feel like unless it's got like a mind-blowing memory that just stays with you forever, they all sort of end up, you know, muddling together. All right, this next one is one I am very tempted to just platinum before the next game comes out next month, and that is Mafia 2. Now, I tend to just be like, okay, Mafia 3 doesn't exist because Mafia 1 and 2 are so damn good, and I think Mafia 3 lets the series down. But Mafia 2 is just an absolute banger. It's genuinely, I still think it's an underrated game. I think it gets more love today. I hope this new Mafia game is the push people need to be like, okay, Mafia, because the Mafia 1 Definitive Edition was phenomenal. I don't think the second had a great like remaster, so I hope the new game just, you know, pushes this series to new heights. Next up, we got Mass Effect 3, which on the PS3 is going to be interesting because I feel like Mass Effect 3 had some multiplayer, if I'm not mistaken, but I mean, I prefer Mass Effect 2 is my absolute favorite. I've only played Mass Effect 3 the once because I didn't really rate the ending of it. After all those years, I was sort of expecting a little bit more, but as a game, the journey of Mass Effect 3 is still really good. This is probably one of those ones that haunts me that this can't be platinumed anymore, and that is Max Payne 3. Now, I played Max Payne 1 and 2 probably way too young. I would have been like 7 or 8 when I played those games, and I absolutely loved them. So when I saw Max Payne 3 was finally coming out through magazines, like back in the day, you get the Game Informers and whatnot, I was so excited, and it did not let me down. I thought this was a fantastic game from Rockstar primarily. I think Remedy had some hand in this, but not too much. But yeah, just a great game that sadly, because of the multiplayer, it would have been a hard platinum, but I would have taken a hard platinum over just not being able to do it anymore. This one is, I do find these games to be quite underrated because I loved them back in the day. The Medal of Honor reboot type of games. But yeah, I loved the vibe of this Medal of Honor a lot. And same with Warfighter. I had fun with both of these games. I really did. I think Battlefield just sort of killed them. Honestly, I just think the Medal of Honor series it needed a big push, and because DICE was working on Battlefield, I don't think the attention was really there for it, if that makes sense. Okay, this is something I need to fix, but I've never played outside of Metal Gear Solid 5 and Peace Walker. Those are the games in the Metal Gear Solid series I've played. I haven't even finished those games, so I need to fix that, and I do have 2 and 3 here. So yeah, I'm excited to again get to that one day, but for now, it still haunts my my gaming cred. Mirror's Edge is one of those games on the wheel that is definitely it's a sneaky time bomb. It's not a super long platinum, but this one's going to really test us, I fear, and I'm sort of excited for it because I love Mirror's Edge as a game. I wasn't a big fan of Catalyst, but I loved the first game for being how unique it was at the time. But yeah, the platinum I feel like is going to suck. in a hard way, not like I hate this. Another really underrated PS3 game. I don't know how many people actually played this one, but Mod Nation Races was a game I always really enjoyed. I loved the online aspect of sharing your cars and your avatars. It was like Little Big Planet kart racing, which they eventually ended up doing as well. But yeah, Mod Nation Races was really fun. I remember revisiting this in 2018 or 2017 as well, and I had a lot of fun with it. So I'd like to see it come back. There's a lot of games on here in my collection. I'd like to see them come back for new fans to experience. Alright, this is probably my least favorite Mortal Kombat game that I remember playing, and that is Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. If this is how we got Injustice, I'll take it. It's not a Mortal Kombat game, and it's not a particularly great, superhero fighting game. It's just they obviously you can't do your fatalities on Batman and whatnot, but I've never liked that one in particular. I did play it a lot, but I don't have the fondest of memories for it. Same with this one, honestly. Need for Speed Most Wanted, the Criterion remake. I never really vibed with this game because Most Wanted, the original was such a fan favorite of mine. I love that. I played that game so much, and when I finally picked this one up, I was like, this doesn't feel like it. This doesn't have that same charm. It is still possible to platinum though. Need for Speed Shift, on the other hand, I absolutely loved. This was one of those really underrated Need for Speed games for me. I played this so much, and I'm so thankful again. You can platinum this one. I'm excited. I think, the wheel has given us a good bit of variety. I think we need a racing game soon. I do think we've got a bunch of racing games in my collection. I think one of them needs to be the next platinum. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. PlayStation's answer to Super Smash Bros. I'm a big myself. I love the Super Smash Bros. Series. Didn't love this entry. I thought obviously the characters are sick. You got the Big Daddy and Ratchet and Clank and Kratos and Sir Dan. I love that aspect as someone who grew up with PlayStation. I just don't think it worked as well as it could have. My voice is getting tired for how much we've been talking, but I've been enjoying it. I like chatting about games, man. Next up, we got the Prince of Persia trilogy. One of my absolute favorites, you know, especially this PS2 era of Prince of Persia. I mean, what's not to love? The Sands of Time in particular, I remember playing a lot of. And same with, I think it was Warrior Within. I don't remember the Two Thrones too much, outside of I played it, and that's sort of about it. But yeah, great trilogy that at some point again we'll get to. Never really vibed with this game, but the Prince of Persia. I found this game to be really easy. I can't really remember too much else about it. I like the cel shaded stuff, but not a game that really stood out to me. Neither did, you know, the Forgotten Sands. I think this one was based on the movie, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember exactly. Maybe it was okay. Yeah, this is another one of those. I don't think Satire has covered this one. He should. If he hasn't covered this one for a PS3 video, he really needs to. Rambo. This game sucks. It's terrible. It's one of the worst games I've ever played. The platinum doesn't seem too bad, but again, when you're playing a game like this that isn't great already, and you have to sit there and grind for trophies, it gets tiresome a lot quicker than others. One of the first few games we got on the wheel, we got the Ratchet and Clank trilogy, which, I mean, it's just so much fun. I had a blast revisiting Ratchet and Clank 1, and I can't wait to go for 2 and 3 as well, especially 3. That's my favorite Ratchet and Clank game. Not far behind it, though, is Tools of Destruction, which I'm so sad doesn't have a platinum. I think it really needed one in post or whatever. Tools of Destruction is an absolute banger. Same with A Crack in Time, which thankfully does have a platinum. You know, I love Ratchet and Clank. Q-Force, on the other hand, yikes, no. I had never played this game before a couple of weeks ago, and I sort of wish it stayed like that, because it's not very good. Alright, I am speeding up because I can feel we're getting towards the end, and it's 2 a.m. right now, so I'd like to go to bed. Alright, next up we have another game that will be a double up, but I think I can still do a video on this as it is. Again, one of my favorite games, it's Red Dead Redemption. Now this one is different. We platinumed the PS4 version. This one obviously has the multiplayer stuff we need to worry about. This might not be a popular opinion, but I still rate Red Dead 1 over 2. I just find it's a game I want to revisit more than Red Dead 2. That's about it. I think they're both phenomenal, but Red Dead 1, I think maybe it's nostalgia, maybe it's, you know, the connection, but it's just special, man. Talking about special, Resident Evil 6. Now, I'm not a big Resident Evil guy. The first Resident Evil game I ever played was 5. So that sort of tells you all you need to know. Plus, the Resident Evil 6 logo, I still remember this Kid Icarus joke. Looks like a giraffe getting by a person. But yeah, I really enjoyed Resident Evil 6. I find this game so funny and so crazy and so whatever. I understand Resident Evil fans, you probably hated it. I had fun with it. Resistance, Fall of Man, you know, one of the PlayStation 3 launch titles. No trophies, sadly, but just a really special series, the Resistance series. I've spoken about it at length. Resistance 2 is sort of hit and miss with people. I don't really rate Resistance 2 that highly. I think the multiplayer was really good, but I think what they did to the story and the gameplay, it wasn't the best. But still great. Still, you know, Resistance 2 is still a good game. It's just not my favorite. And Resistance 3, I think, is my favorite. And thankfully, you can platinum this one still, so it is on the wheel, and I'm excited to do so because, yeah, Resistance 3 is an absolute banger. All right, I know for a fact, value-wise, I don't know what a lot of these are worth. I know these next two games are expensive because they were expensive when I bought them. Saw the video game. Again, I'm a huge fan of Saw. I've talked about these games on the channel already. But yeah, I'm a massive fan of Saw, and I really enjoyed the platinum experience of the first game a lot. I had a blast with it as a Saw fan. Playing that game on stream was a blast. Saw 2, not so much. Saw 2, they fumbled really badly. They had something good with Saw 1. Yes, it was not it's not a great game. It's not even a good game. It's a fun game as a Saw fan. But Saw 2, they changed it when they shouldn't have. All right, we got another really underrated game that did, I think, last year get a remaster, or even the year before. I'm losing track. It goes by so quickly. But Shadows of the Damned, which is just, you know, if you know Suda51 with Lollipop Chainsaw, and I believe they're behind the No More Heroes games as well, you sort of know what to expect with Shadows of the Damned. It's just a fight your way through hell, lots of dick jokes. It's a good time. We got the Silent Hill collection. I know this isn't the best way to play these games, but they have trophies. That's my excuse. They have trophies. I played a bit of the Silent Hill 2 remake, which was really good. I ended up getting sidetracked by other projects, but yeah. I mean, I do want to get into the Silent Hill games. It's just, they creep me the hell out so much more than like any other horror game. All right, next up we have another really underrated game. If you like BioShock, if you like Metro, if you like those types of games, I would highly recommend you check out Singularity, or even Titanfall 2 actually. It's like a time traveling, time mechanics first-person shooter. It's really good. It's really good. It's really fun. It's really underrated, and you really should play it. And I think the platinum is still possible. All right, next up is another game we've platinumed already. Sleeping Dogs. I bought this the same year I platinumed the game on PS4. I just had such a good time with it. I'd be happy to platinum it again. That was pretty much the reason I picked it up again. And yeah, this is a great game. If you like the GTA sort of games, you should enjoy Sleeping Dogs. One of my favorite kart racing games, no doubt. Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing. Same with Sonic and Sega All-Stars Transformed. Two just phenomenal racing games. I'm excited for Crossworlds. I don't know much about it, but it looks fun. But yeah, just really good. I'm not even a big like Sega Sonic fan. I love how these games play. I really do. This is the game I think this was the game that introduced me to Soul Calibur, if I'm not mistaken, and Soul Calibur 4. This one had Darth Vader, the 360 had Yoda. That was the Soul Calibur thing, and it was awesome. And yeah, it's a big reason I got into Soul Calibur in the first place. I want to say I played a little bit of either 2 or 3. Yeah, I remember playing a lot of 4, and 4 was what got me into the series, and what was the reason I picked up Soul Calibur 5. This one had Ezio, which was pretty cool. This one is, yeah, Soul Calibur 5 is possible to platinum, so that is good. Soul Calibur 4 I don't think has any trophies at all. One of the best licensed games of all time. South Park, The Stick of Truth. I mean, what's not to like about this game? If you like South Park, you will enjoy the South Park games. There's no question about it. Even if you don't love South Park, you probably will still love the games. I mean, the game's so good I platinumed it twice. Alright, now from memory, this is the most expensive game in my collection, and I don't think it's close. It could be, but I don't think it is. And that is Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. For whatever reason, Beanox Spider-Man games are so damn rare and expensive. I mean, they're delisted games, but these are so expensive, man. I want to get Edge of Time, but it's literally like $350 sometimes, and I cannot justify that. Maybe after we finally platinum this, I'll be like, okay, let's get Edge of Time, but not right now. I mean, Shattered Dimensions, the Beanox games were really good. I really enjoyed them. Before Insomniac Spider-Man came out, I mean, these were some of the they're still some of the very best, but like this was top tier sort of stuff. Alright, I have no idea what this game is, except for, you know, obviously the license it's based around. SpongeBob SquarePants Plankton's Robotic Revenge. Yeah, again, no clue what this is really. I just know it's one of the easiest games on the wheel, so I'll take it. But I don't know much about it. Alright, this is the only Star Wars PS3 Platinum I have left to get, and that is Star Wars The Clone Wars Republic Heroes. I don't know, again, anything about this. I think, yep, Chrome Studios. Okay, so this is made in Australia, if you didn't know, which is crazy. Chrome Studios, the studio behind, most people would know them for Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. I've not heard great things about this game, but I mean, it's the only one I have left, so at some point, the wheel picks it, we'll be getting the last Star Wars Platinum we need. Alright, this is probably the most disappointing Platinum of the year so far. Star Wars The Force Unleashed. It is one of my favorite Star Wars games still to date, and I think the Platinum ruins it. Maybe it doesn't ruin it, it just exposes the fact that the hardest difficulty sucks and should never exist, because it just makes the game so boring. But a great game, but yeah, the platinum was terrible, man. And then we have The Force Unleashed 2, which in the rare case here, the platinum is so much better than the first game. That's the only thing that it is better than, because I think it is a worse game overall and a very disappointing sequel because they had no time to work on this game, but yeah. I do need to get back to the DLC for both of those games though. We've got Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and I don't really rate this game from when I played it, mainly because I don't like Street Fighter. I don't like how the fighting feels. I bought this because of Tekken, and the Tekken characters are in here, but it's just a Street Fighter game. This is not. If this was Tekken cross Street Fighter, like they were planning to at some point, I'd probably love it. I love the Tekken gameplay, but yeah, Street Fighter is not for me. Speaking of Tekken, Tekken 6, a great game. The platinum was very, very disappointing though with that beat. It's all. There's like 30 out of the 50 trophies that are to do with the beat 'em ups, which, well, it's not the best part of Tekken 6, I'll tell you that. It doesn't deserve that much time in it, but yeah, as when it's actually the arcade style fights, this was fantastic. All right, another bad game that I've heard is bad, but it is at least an easy platinum. You got Terminator Salvation, which as a movie, I've never enjoyed. Even as a kid, it's just like, it's super boring, and it's always been a boring movie to me. The game's supposed to be bad, I don't know. I picked it up for cheap, I feel like. Maybe bad game? I haven't heard great things about it. Thor, God of Thunder. This is basically a God of War style game, you know, hack and slash. I've never been a big fan of the Thor movies until Ragnarok, and then they fumbled again with, you know, Love and Thunder, but it looks okay. This one I'm really sad can't be platinum anymore because it's one of my favorites in the Ghost Recon series, and that is Future Soldier. This one was so much fun. I absolutely loved it, and this was one of the first games that I actually convinced my buddy to give the series a go. I was like, okay, like I couldn't get him into Advanced Warfighter, I couldn't get him into any of that stuff. I got him to finally give in with Future Soldier, and he loved it. And then we have the Toy Story games, which I still get asked about where the video is, and I'm gonna have to say it's dead. The script I could not get to work, and it's almost been a year since I platinumed the games. But we have Toy Story 3, which I think is one of the best movie tie-in games of all time. It genuinely is phenomenal. The platinum, unfortunately, is a little disappointing because of the tracking is so terrible. And then we have Toy Story Mania, which is just carnival games with focuses on, you know, shooting galleries, and it's no good. All right. This is another one. I mean, the PS3 is filled with them, but a game I wish I could platinum. Twisted Metal. Now, I love the Twisted Metal series. I remember playing a lot of 1 and 2. Australia never got 3 and 4. So after I was playing, you know, 1 and 2, I went on to play Twisted Metal Black, which is my favorite of the series. And even though I don't love this Twisted Metal, you know, the online focus, I mean, it would be so fun to go back and just see what the game was like. So we might do that. Transformers War for Cybertron. I mean, this is one that is commonly like, oh, why I wish that I could platinum this. This is one of the best Transformers games of all time. It's phenomenal. So the people who made the Deadpool game developed these, and they did a great job. I mean, I'm not the biggest Transformers fan, but you know, the War for Cybertron, and in particular the Fall of Cybertron games, were just fantastic. Especially this one. I think this is where we got the dinosaurs robots as well, and it's just sick, man. Just phenomenal games. If you've never played them, you should check them out if you can. They're not cheap, but if you like your collecting and revisiting older games, they are really good. Alrighty, next up we got Uncharted Drake's Fortune. Probably I don't think this is being controversial, the weakest in the series. It's one of those games I'm sort of surprised Uncharted ended up being so big, because the first game I don't think is very good. Then they really upped their ante with Uncharted 2, which is it's my favorite of the series. It's phenomenal. Uncharted 2 is just so good. And same with Uncharted 3. I think 2 and 3 are my favorites, and then 4, then Lost Legacy, I think it is, then 1. But 3 is really good as well. But 2 and 3 you cannot platinum on PS3 anymore. 1 is the only one you can get the PS3 platinum. Alright, this was another one of those first-person shooters I was talking about earlier. Unreal Tournament 3. I mean, I used to play the hell out of Unreal Tournament on PC. It was one of those really big reason I got into gaming as much as I did was because my dad loved playing PC games, like the first-person shooters. And I remember getting him to play Unreal Tournament was so easy. It's just a fun multiplayer game. Alright, the first game we got from the wheel, Up, which was fine. You know, I've never been the biggest fan of the movie. I did rewatch it actually recently, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I did. I still think Fantastic Mr. Fox should have won the Oscar, but as a game it was fine. Okay, this genuinely is the easiest game on the on the PS3 randomizer, and I only include it because I have a physical copy of the game. Why wouldn't I include it? And it is Telltale's The Walking Dead. Season 1, it's the best season. There's no doubt about it. Season 2 is phenomenal as well, but the impact of Season 1 is just, you can't rival it. So you go from Telltale's The Walking Dead to The Walking Dead Survival Instinct, which is so funny to see Death Stranding now and see how far we've come in terms of graphics, because Norman Reedus is obviously in this as well. I don't remember, hating this game. It was just okay. As a Walking Dead fan, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like, oh hell yeah, you gotta play this as a fan. It does the job. I've seen this on Xbox being remastered. Is this on PS5 as well? Warhammer 40k Space Marine. I love Space Marine 2, and Space Marine 2 I'd been waiting for ever since this game came out. I love 40k. I love the Space Marine game. What more can you say? It's just a epic game. Okay, this might be genuinely the most underrated game in my whole collection, and I will die on that hill. We have 2008 or 9's Wolfenstein. I forget which year, but holy crap, was this a fun game to play. It was so, as someone, I grew up playing Return to Castle Wolfenstein. That was my Wolfenstein, and I still remember playing this and being like, it just blew my mind. I'm being so serious, this needs a remake. So serious. Give this game another chance, please. Alright, we probably got this game is every time I spin the wheel, I swear this game is 2 or 3 games away, and it's XCOM Enemy Unknown. This is probably the hardest game on the PS3 wheel at the moment, and it's one of my favorite games. This is what got me into XCOM, and it's just a banger. The issue is, the platinum is so difficult, it's scary. But I'm down to try it. I will give it my absolute all, and I will not give up unless I physically am just I don't think I can do this. XCOM Enemy Within is the DLC expansion to Enemy Unknown. It's apparently far easier. It goes from a 9 out of 10 to a 5, so I'll take that. And the final game in my PS3 collection, my voice is going croaky. X-Men Origins Wolverine. This is, again, we played this around the same time as the Deadpool game. This was the far better of the two experiences. It just made you feel like Wolverine. And this is one I didn't know was as expensive as it was. I got this game for $5 back in 2014. So to see what it is now is actually insane. All right. But that is my PS3 collection. You'll see wherever I've put it, I'm sure along there, what my total value is. I think, if I had to guess, it's probably 3,000 Australian dollars. Bear in mind, it is Australian dollars. I live in Australia. So if you're like, hey, this game is way cheaper over here, I'm going off the recently sold on eBay in Australia. So that's how I found at the price. But yeah, this was good fun. It was a good yap, but holy crap. 2 hours talking. My voice needs a rest, and I'm sure this is going to be more complicated to edit than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure most people chucked me on the second monitor with how long the video ended up being, but I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment below any PS3 games I need to pick up, because I've got a list of 40 games at this point that I still need to buy. So we're far from done collecting on the PS3. Yeah, make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed it. We've got plenty of really good platinum content coming up, especially August is going to be a busy month, so stay tuned for that. And thank you as always to my channel members for that extra level of support, and special thanks to members of the Bear Club: Scott Unwin, Steel Vanguard, It's Grey J, Dark Wolf, Zafado, Lug Knights, Golden Sparrow, Lord Alex, Kuzma, Jarvis, GNT Papi, and One Wonder Hit. Thank you all, and I'll see you in the next one.